Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Bottom left hand corner we got Kik0 starting as the red Terran. Upper left hand corner we got Baal starting as the blue Protoss. And actually, maybe I should... I'm trying to think of a way to make sure that... Again, I actually am not rooting against Baal, but quietly I kind of want to see Kik0 advance just because I want more race parity. Don't want to see a whole lot of Protoss making it all the way to the finals, is what we're saying. This is... Did I get the map right? This is Polestar... is what's listed. It's actually Radeon. Give me a second, everybody. It's going to go to black screen. Macro-oriented map. I could see Kik0 taking this. I think Kik0, between the two, is the player I'm going to favor slightly. Nothing against Baal. I do hope... I guess I'm kind of glad at least it wasn't like a TVT or TVZ that they put, and they made sure that it was at least a Terran versus a Protoss or a Zerg versus a Protoss. We'll see if there's additional... as it goes on, so we might get some variety of race moving forward. It's not that I don't like PvP, it's just that I don't know, it's nice to see variety. Variety is the spice of life. That's what I'm getting down to. Anyway, pylon morphing in between these two. Baal has done a pretty good job doing some swarm macro here and there. Kik0, his macro, I feel like his macro does really well until about mid late game, and then it seems to tail off a bit, at which point he seems to struggle. Early game, oftentimes he puts himself in a very good scenario, and I will say if he sits on 3 base and you let him get to 300, or I should say 300, if you let him get to 200 supply and let him move across the map at all, he moves across the map extremely rapidly. Baal going for the dreaded 12 Nexus in the upper left-hand corner. So it's not going to be cross-spawn Nexus first, but we'll see if Kik0 is going to be able to get the scouting information off to even have an opportunity to react. In the meantime, he's gone barracks into refinery. Check the direction of the SCV. I feel like a lot of Terran will complain about this build order, but I guess the equivalent build order for Terran would just be go barracks 1 Marine to expand. Equivalently, Protoss seem to have equal trouble dealing with that, or so I hear. Probe going across map bottom right. Baal recognizing that probe is scouting bottom right, gonna switch directions, as is Kik0. And it looks like Baal's going to end up with the better part of that exchange as Kik0 going towards top right. That was very clever on Baal. He actually stopped and waited to see what direction the SCV went. And when he saw that it went to the upper right, he knew where his opponent was. And so now not only is he going to get away with the 12 Nexus, he's going to be able to get a scout into his opponent's base potentially, and might even be able to pull some shenanigans and harass the front. But he at least sees the initial Marine factory being constructed along that edge. It looks like he's pocketing it to the corner to, once the shields are regenerated, to make another dive down to see the status of things. Kik0, yeah, is gonna, we already have a gateway up. Might even have, nope, no safety zealot right off the bat. Looks like it's just gonna be straight Dragoons from here. I think that's what the build order dictates. The stereotypical 12 Nexus. Usually you'll see 2 gates though, rather than just the cybernetics core, depending on how you're executing it. But anyway, probe waiting on to scout. The Marines moving out. They're going to be slightly out of position. The probe sees the edge of it. Does he recognize he can make his way across? And Kik0 now is making his way across here. This is 3 Marines versus a Zealot. They might be able to win that if they micro extremely well. It will be a challenge. He's going to... Ooh, and he's pulling many SCVs. So this is going to be 7 SCV in total. Now keep in mind, this is the 7th SCV in the base. So 3 Marines versus a Zealot and what will be a Dragoon by the time they all get up here. Second gateway dropped on the corner. Marines doing what they can. It's really up to this Zealot to micro quite well. And right now, oh, SCV got some vicious damage as well. Here comes the rest of the boys. They need to get in linebacker position, which means they need to blockade. First Dragoon is out. Probes are pulling opposite side. And unfortunately, right the second, yeah, the first Marine is going to get exposed. The Vulture's going to come alongside. Zealot was wiped out, but 2 Marines and a Vulture remain. And the SCV is going to draw back from here. Do we have a bunker started? Just now. Dragoon on the other side. Now the Dragoon doesn't win this fight against the 2 Marines and 2 Vultures, but he can poke away at this and maybe draw them out. Second Dragoon should be out shortly. This gateway's certainly going to get wiped out by all of this attack here, all of this damage here on the front. It's not going to halt that Nexus. It's not cutting into Baal's probe count. And on top of that, keep in mind, this is 6 SCV, technically, sorry, 7 SCV that were sent. that are not mining in the meantime. So he's got a huge economic deficit here. We only have 4 probes that are not mining opposite side. The Dragoons are out doing what they can. SCV's pushing the Dragoons back to the corner. Mines are not yet researched. As these Dragoons, wow, that was a nice little drill to lock these Dragoons in position. So 1 Dragoon drops, and a second bunker going up. Well executed from Kik0 thus far. However, the Marines are gone, so that bunker needs to get canceled. It's not going to provide a lot of support from here. It's just going to be SCVs. Do we have another Marine? Another Marine is walking its way up to try to make this bunker worthwhile. And right now, Kik0 executing this beautifully, I have to say. Natural expansion's been emptied from Baal. He's theoretically even, so if you -6 across here, he's about... Oh, nice snipe there from Baal on the Marines. The Dragoon is going to fall to the SCVs, it looks like. A mine planted as well on that corner. Does get shot on the turnaround. And Kik0 continuing to push troops up here. Siege tank now making its way up. When the siege tank gets up here, if a Marine can also get its way into the bunker, could shift things dramatically. Unfortunately, the siege tank a little bit on attack move right there. SCVs trying to attack what they can. It's SCVs versus 2 Dragoons, unfortunately, right this second. Re-engaging, the Marine going to jump into the bunker that's available. The Dragoons trying to get rid of that siege tank. If siege tank finishes on this edge, it'll be disastrous. They are able to pick off that siege tank, but that's going to be likely at the cost of this Dragoon's life. Should be able to take out that Marine, however, which means there's less in that bunker on the opposite side. But Marines, the Vulture has managed to plant mines opposite corner. Oof, and get some splash. This is turning into a spicy one. This is an extremely prolonged forward attack. Marines able to dive into the forward bunker now, and that is going to be a huge headache for Baal. I don't know that he's going to recover from this. Very, very delayed on the Dragoon range in the space of this, which has made all the difference in these fights, by the way. Mine planted on the low ground. These 2 turrets going to get wiped out. That's going to put... No, never mind. I was going to say put Baal in the red, but his supply has absolutely been hurting. He's trying to bait out some mines with his weakened Dragoon, not quite able to. And SCV's now repairing that. Okay, so we got 6 SCVs still in the front. 1 SCV that... Wow, the SCVs are actually rallied here. So maybe it's better to look at this. So we've got 11 SCVs mining. 1 SCV on gas. Baal technically mining more efficiently right this second off a single base, but he's completely locked out of his natural expansion. Mines are planted here. Siege tech is not that far from finishing. Range also being queued up, and look at this Baal for the recovery maneuver. Looks like he's going to try to sneak some DT tech, potentially on the corner. Citadel of Adun planted, robotics facility as well. So right now it's looking like a win for Kik0, but things could change rapidly. Oh, unfortunately for... Well, let's see the timing on this. We got a barracks slowly floating its way out. I think this is the same probe that was out at the earlier stage of the map, by the way. When does Kik0 get detection? He is dropping that engineering bay in the midst of this. The Dragoons looking to push their way out. Still no siege tech, by the way. The sneaky probe has been scouted. Is Kik0 reacting is the next question, or is he completely focused on this corner? Gateway dropped underneath. Does Kik0 see it? He's floating the barracks, but I don't think he sees... Okay, he's drawing back with a single Marine. I don't know that that Marine's going to get there in time. I think he needs a Vulture. Okay, the Vulture looks like it's going to head its way that direction. Engineering bay up, just needs some turrets at key locations here on the front, at his natural expansion, and potentially at that third. They are going to collapse. Yeah, that's going to cause a cancellation. That'll be it. And I think with that, that should be all she wrote. And Baal is effectively locked into his base at this stage. Do we have DT queued up? We have DTs queued up after the Dragoons. That's unfortunate. The Dragoons are going to have to walk their way down. They're going to have to absorb the mines to make way for the Dark Templar, and that all has to happen. Looks like they're going to be able to attack the high ground. That Marine needs to get out of there, make his way back to the corner. We don't have siege tech as of yet, by the way. It's just queued up. So this is 2 siege tanks, 3 SCVs, 4 Marines, and a Vulture, versus what's going to be 6 Dragoons and 2 Dark Templar. And keep in mind, the bunker can't focus fire any of these units. So first Dark Templar making its way out. There's no mines along that corner. It looks like they are going to get some free shots on that siege tank before they run back. Still could repair that siege tank. If siege finishes, it could be I mean, it's looking like it's game already. Initial Dragoon dies. See, the Dark Templar does get focused down. It's going to thin out a lot of the danger of this. And a lot of Dragoons lose their lives before they're able to make it past what I'm going to call this the breach line. SCV's wandering back to the bunker, as that'll provide the largest point of support. The turret is now gone, which means the Dark Templar can swing down and clean the rest of this up. SCV's at each corner, just making sure Baal didn't sneak anything out. And now Kik0 with an 11 supply lead, filling in the factory line. Barracks floating above the base. Do we have a shuttle? The shuttle might have been the one way back into this. The SCV's returning back to home base. Baal at 24 workers versus nearly 40 here for Kik0. He's got the mines out in front. He's got the turret. He does have a turret in his main, a few mines out in the main just in case. And still has this SCV hanging out here at the 9 o'clock location in case something got floated. Wow, this is salt and lemon in the wound right here for Kik0. Building Marines, does Baal see it? Yeah, Baal sees it. He's just not responding to it, it looks like. So Marines on top of everything else. That's right, he can't build fire bats. He doesn't have an academy. On top of everything else, should be able to swarm this. Baal's got one kind of suicide attack he can draw, but we have 2 tanks that are in fact sieged and more units coming shortly here from Kik0. A very strong macro position. Here come the Marines. Guess he was like, I don't care about this. The probes can... So it was what, 1 Marine? Or 1 probe kill for... This is actually... Well, okay, 1 Marine for 1. The probes have stopped attacking right here, and this is a lot of idle probes. Baal instead looks like he's going to focus entirely on this attack. Dark Templar able to suicide into the mine line, but this is still a lot of clutter. Some additional SCVs pulling off the line. 2 siege tanks down. We got 6 Dragoons remaining. A mine looks like it's going to take some SCVs with it, though. Another Dragoon along that corner. This feels kind of like the last hurrah. I don't think it's going to pan out. 4 Dragoons remain, but this is just not... This is not enough to really strike the damage that Baal's hoping for. And the Dragoon, the siege tank, should be able to clear this up. We're seeing some group repair on that siege tank, which is going to make it even harder for these Dragoons that are now trying to exit. We have a few more reinforcements that are making their way towards the line. And a fire bat, I take it back, a fire bat was created. There was an academy someplace, and that fire bat now has 3 probe kills. And more fire bats are constructing probes. It is a probe flambe time. GG, well played, very mannered from Baal. And Kik0 able to completely swat that Fast Nexus expand. He's going to go up 1-0 in the series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.